Bob Cousy didn't just handle the ball, he made it dance. In the 1950s, when most players used two hands and stayed predictable, Cousy was flipping passes behind his back and threading needles nobody else could see. The league wasn't ready for it. Critics called it showboating, said he was disrespecting the game's fundamentals. But Boston didn't care about opinions when they were stacking 6 championship banners. Cousy set the blueprint for every flashy passer that followed, proving style could win just as much as substance. The Celtics dynasty started with his hands, but the real triple-double king came next. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple-double for an entire season in 1961, and most fans barely noticed. He was playing in an era where Russell and Chamberlain dominated headlines, so his historic achievement got buried. Robertson wasn't just putting up numbers, he was fighting racial barriers off the court and changing the league's power structure. His lawsuit against the NBA led directly to free agency, giving players control they'd never had before. Milwaukee finally gave him a championship late in his career, but by then people had already moved on. His legacy deserved louder recognition. Walt Frazier brought something different to New York, elegance mixed with lockdown defense. Everyone remembers Willis Reed limping onto the court in the 1970 finals, but Frazier's 36-point, 19-assist performance in Game 7 actually won that game. He earned the nickname Clyde from his fashion sense, turning into a cultural icon beyond basketball. His defensive mastery rarely gets the credit it should, overshadowed by his smooth offensive game. 2 championships with the Knicks defined an entire era, but Frazier's two-way dominance set a standard few point guards have matched since. Then Magic Johnson changed everything people thought they knew about the position. A 6-foot, 9-inch point guard sounded absurd in 1979. Critics laughed at the idea, said he was too big to handle that responsibility. His rookie season ended that conversation immediately, playing center in Game 6 of the finals, dropping 42 points to clinch the championship. 5 titles later, the Lakers' Showtime era had revolutionized basketball. His rivalry with Larry Bird literally saved the NBA from financial collapse. The HIV announcement in 1991 shocked the entire world, and his return attempts sparked uncomfortable debates the league wasn't ready to have. Isaiah Thomas led the Bad Boys Pistons with a fearless edge that made people uncomfortable. Detroit's physical style drew constant criticism. Opponents called it dirty, said they were hurting the game. Thomas didn't care about being liked. He cared about winning, and 2 championships proved his method worked. The 1988 Finals ankle game became legendary, limping through 25 points on one leg. But his rivalry with Jordan turned bitter, and getting left off the Dream Team felt like punishment for success. Detroit's titles still get dismissed by fans who hated their approach, but history can't erase those banners. John Stockton put up numbers that seem impossible to touch now. All-time leader in both assists and steals, yet he never won an MVP. Playing alongside Karl Malone created the perfect pick-and-roll partnership, but that same partnership never delivered a championship. The Jazz came heartbreakingly close twice, falling to Jordan's Bulls both times. Stockton's assist record looks untouchable with how modern basketball operates, but his legacy carries that championship-less weight. Recent controversial public statements shifted how people view him off the court, complicating an otherwise spotless career. The stats speak for themselves, even if opinions have changed. Gary Payton earned the glove by suffocating opponents on defense. He's still the only point guard to win Defensive Player of the Year, backing up his legendary trash talk with lockdown performances. Seattle built around him for years, and watching that loyalty end without a championship stung. His late-career Miami ring in 2006 felt incomplete, a supporting role when he'd been the star for so long. Payton's defensive excellence and personality defined an era where point guards could dominate on both ends. The trash talk was never empty, just confidence proven right night after night. Jason Kidd's career started with darkness that almost ended everything. Early domestic violence arrests threatened to derail his future before it truly began. New Jersey gave him a chance at redemption, and he led them to back-to-back finals appearances. Those losses to the Lakers and Spurs exposed his offensive limitations, but his playmaking kept them competitive. Dallas in 2011 became his championship moment, finally silencing critics who said he'd never get over the hump. Recent coaching controversies have complicated how people remember him, but that 2011 run remains untouchable. The journey wasn't clean, but the destination mattered. Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs, and the debate started immediately. Critics argued Shaquille O'Neal deserved at least one of those awards, sparking arguments that still rage today. The Canadian outsider proved doubters wrong repeatedly, running the 7 seconds or less Suns with surgical precision. Phoenix revolutionized pace and space basketball, predicting where the league would eventually head. But Nash retired without a championship, and that absence stains an otherwise brilliant resume. His offensive genius changed how teams approached the game, even if hardware didn't reflect his impact. The eye test and the trophy case tell different stories. Allen Iverson was never supposed to fit the NBA's mold, and he never tried to. Fighting the dress code, challenging establishment norms, bringing streetball culture to the mainstream, AI did it all unapologetically. His 2001 MVP season carried a mediocre 76ers roster to the finals through pure will. The practice rant became a meme, but it revealed deeper frustration with how people questioned his dedication. Hall of Fame career, cultural icon status, yet financial struggles. Afterward painted a cautionary tale. Iverson's influence on basketball culture might outlast his on-court achievements, proving impact measures beyond championships and statistics. Tony Parker faced skepticism as a French point guard in a league that hadn't seen many succeed. His finals MVP performance in 2007 dissolved every doubt permanently. The Spurs dynasty often overshadowed his individual brilliance. People credited the system more than the player. His high-profile marriage and divorce from Eva Longoria made global headlines, pulling focus from basketball. But Parker's speed and signature floater aged gracefully across 4 championships, proving he was essential to San Antonio's success. The mid-range game and pick-and-roll mastery became textbook, even if his name doesn't get mentioned with other legends as often as it should. Chris Paul earned the Point God nickname through basketball IQ nobody could match. But that label carries the weight of a ringless career, playoff collapses haunting his legacy at every turn. Clippers' Lob City era promised championships and delivered disappointment. Team hopping in recent years, Houston, Phoenix, Golden State, San Antonio showed a desperate search for that elusive title. Phoenix's 2021 finals run felt like his moment, then Milwaukee crushed those hopes. Paul's assists, leadership, and floor vision remain elite, but the championship drought defines conversations about his place in history. Sometimes greatness isn't enough without hardware to prove it. Steph Curry's ankles almost ended his career before it truly began. Early injuries had Golden State questioning everything, but he came back and changed basketball forever. The deep three-point shooting revolutionized spacing, forcing defenses to extend 35 feet from the basket. The 73-9 season ending in finals collapse gave critics ammunition. Greatest regular season ever, historic choke job. But 4 championships later, the debate ended. Curry's influence on how kids play basketball might be his biggest legacy. Every youth player now launches from distance, imitating a style that seemed reckless just years ago. The greatest shooter ever isn't a debate anymore. It's accepted fact. Russell Westbrook's 2017 MVP season felt like watching someone break reality. Averaging a triple-double seemed impossible in the modern era. Then he did it again, multiple seasons. Stat-padding accusations followed every achievement. Critics claimed he hunted rebounds and assists selfishly. His loyalty to Oklahoma City after Kevin Durant's departure earned massive respect, carrying the team on his back through pure athleticism. But recent decline sparked harsh criticism about his playing style not aging well. The explosive drives and relentless motor that defined him became liabilities as speed diminished. Westbrook's legacy splits opinions: historic greatness or empty statistics. Both narratives hold weight depending on perspective. Damian Lillard created Dame time through impossible clutch shots that defied logic. His series-ending buzzer beaters became playoff folklore, especially that Portland wave-off against Oklahoma City. Loyalty to the Blazers, despite lacking championship help, frustrated fans watching wasted prime years. Kyrie Irving hit the most important shot in Cleveland Cavaliers history. That 2016 Game 7 three-pointer over Steph Curry ended the city's championship drought and shifted NBA power. But everything after got complicated fast. Flat Earth comments sparked bizarre controversy that overshadowed his basketball brilliance. Leaving Cleveland after winning that championship felt ungrateful to fans who celebrated him. His handle remains the most mesmerizing in basketball. Defenders look foolish trying to stay in front. But leadership questions follow him everywhere, with teams struggling to build around his unpredictability. The talent never gets questioned. Everything else does constantly. Luka Doncic arrived from Europe and immediately rewrote what young players could accomplish. Multiple historic stat lines before age 25, MVP-level performances from day one. His conditioning draws criticism despite elite production. Analysts question whether better shape unlocks even higher potential. The Mavericks finally built properly around him, and a championship window opened wide. His combination of size, skill, and vision mirrors Magic Johnson comparisons people initially dismissed as hype. European success translated perfectly to NBA dominance, proving international development rivals American systems. Luka's ceiling remains unknown, but his floor is already all NBA yearly. The question isn't if he'll win championships, but how many before he's done.